Hi, how's it going? This is Resident of College for YouTube, and even though Friday the 13th is over, I'm here to do the luckiest and unluckiest characters in Dark Shadows. Now, you would think with unlucky, I would put Victoria Winters on that list. No, but I will put Roger and Sam on the unlucky list. Roger, because his biggest headache is worrying about if Sam's going to talk. And what I've always found interesting is he never tries to kill him. And I think I get why. And this has to do with the unluck fact, the fact that he's unlucky. I think he realizes if he just kills Sam, because killing Sam would not be hard. Sam is an alcoholic. I mean, let's call a spade here. That man, he can outdrink anyone, and it wouldn't have been hard for Roger to kill Sam. But if he would have killed him after Bert came back, because that's sort of when they really started talking again, Roger and Sam, it would have just been Maggie who would have been on him. I think Burke would have took a blowtorch to Colin Wood if he even thought Roger killed him, and he would have blamed Roger right away, no matter what. To me, Sam, the one good luck thing about Sam had, Burke looked at Sam like a father at times. And I definitely think that's there. Now you might say, well, if that's the case, why do I feel Sam was unlucky? Sam was unlucky because his wife dies. He takes money that, and really his wife still dies, because even though he takes money to prevent her from dying, so really it's in vain. And that's what I mean by unlucky. When I think of unlucky characters, Sam Evans is on this list, despite, I think he was a great painter, and he had a wonderful daughter, Maggie Evans, and him and Burke were great friends. But at this end of the day, that doesn't always necessarily mean you're lucky either. Luck is a flip of the coin, right? And life itself can be a weird coin. So, and I hate to use that metaphor, but it always seemed like Sam was getting the other side of the coin. Like, his wife's sick. Oh, she might come out of this, so I'll take this. I know I'm lying, but I'll take this money. His wife dies. Then he becomes an alcoholic. He's not just grieving. He feels guilty for lying. And again, he's just unlucky because of all this. And here's where he gets back on the lucky list. Luckily, he finally tells the truth, and that's what really sets him free. So it was on the unlucky list, but now he's on the lucky list. See how that works? Who is the most unluckiest character in Dark Shadows? I bet many people are going to say, I'm going to say Willie Loomis, or even Jason Maguire. No. Or even David. Nope. The person who is the most unluckiest person in all of Collinwood, or even Collinsport, is not a member of the Collins family. At least in my opinion. Ladies and gentlemen, the woman whose birthmark was a skull and crossbones won Rachel Drummond, the character I just did a retrospective on not too long ago. Think about everything that happens to this girl and tell me how in the blue hell she is not the most unluckiest woman you've ever met in your life. Before her death, she's literally put in a place where she's terrified of Reverend Trask, where Worthington Hall. She's put in Worthington Hall where she's terrified of Reverend Trask. She runs away. She's accused of accessory to murder, which basically She doesn't want to go back. They basically kidnap her to get her back there. And I mean kidnap her. And she's stuck there again. Only to never really get a... Rachel Drummond was never really free. This woman was never free. You might say, really, death brought her only freedom. I would not disagree if you said that. If you guys said that, I wouldn't disagree with you. But here's the thing. When I say this woman's birthmark was a skull and crossbones, it's because, to me, she was always meant to die. And I mean, like, at a young age. That's what I mean by that. She was... I think she would have died in Worthington Hall if she had stayed there. I think Trask would have killed her. I think Trask would have killed her. I don't put it past him. I don't put nothing past him. And I think, again, this is just a woman who was dealt the worst side of the coin you could imagine. To me, when I think of who is the most unluckiest character, and people are saying, well, not Barnabas, no, Rachel. Rachel Drummond is the most unluckiest character ever. Is Amanda Harris unlucky? You know, I had trouble with this one. I can't say she was unlucky. Any woman who is given a chance by death himself to live again and find her love, that's not unlucky. It's unfortunate that you died and death is, I think you're hot. So I'm going to give you another Mr. Best. Mr. Best is attracted to her. I can't say I blame him. Like, really? So he gives her another chance. Sorry. But he gives her another chance. And it just happens. He just gives her another chance. But she still ends up dying. I mean, I can't say she's unlucky. It's unfortunate what happens to her. Remember, this woman was brought to life by a pain, too. Jesus. Charles Delaware Tate. Does he get on the unlucky list? You know, I liked the character of Charles Delaware Tate. I really, really, really did. But, to me, he's more lucky than unlucky. I mean, he meets an unlucky end. But, I mean, to be, to serve Count Andreas Patofe, to, I can't say he's unlucky. So to me, he's a bit both. He's in between. Sorry. Who's the luckiest character in Dark Shadows? Like the luckiest character. Yes, I'm going to tell you where Barnabas lands on this list. The luckiest character is Barnabas Collins. I'm sorry, he is. I love him to death. You might say, wait, he was cursed. Yes, you're right. He was cursed. Before I get into who he was cursed by, and we all know who he was cursed by, he was in love, set to marry a beautiful French woman named Josette Dupre. On the flip side, he had a smoking, hot, blonde witch wanting him. Where was this man unlucky? Where it's not unlucky. No, hell no. It's not unlucky. And sure, he's got to make a choice. He's a grown-ass adult. He made his choice. Obviously, what Angelique did was wrong. It's just crazy, right? I would put Barnabas on a lucky list. He does the biggest unluck factor about him is that he does not know Angelique's a witch. That I would say is somewhat unlucky. It's more of an unfortunate factor than luck or not luck. It's more of an unfortunate thing because a lot of people would say, well, shouldn't he have figured that out? No, not really. I mean, here's a guy who was literally trying to live his own life. Barnabas ain't got time to figure out who the witch is. Really, he didn't. Working for his dad, planning a wedding. I mean, he had no time. He was in a duel with Jeremiah. After that. Oh, God. Everything goes downhill, right? He gets turned into a vampire. But still, he still lives a long time, though. I mean, is it really unlucky? You could say him losing his sister and mom sucked. It was unlucky as hell. But other than that, I can't really put him on the unlucky list. We gotta put him on the lucky list. Really? So, is Liz Stoddard unlucky? Unlucky. In many ways, her conscience is unlucky. Because her conscious mind really is playing a trick on her. Oh, a trick she was told and believed, a lie, really. That she's told her husband, she killed her husband by Jason. Jason Maguire told her she killed her own husband, Paul Stoddard. So I would say her mind and her circumstance are unlucky. Yeah, she's got money, but come on, she didn't kill that guy. But unfortunately, she has to wait, literally having to wait for Jason to finally come back to Collinwood. I know some people might view that as unlucky for him to come back, but in many ways it was a blessing in disguise. I mean, him coming back sort of is going to help resolve her biggest issue. And her biggest issue is, I killed my husband. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, not from a fire poker. Girl, no. If you really wanted to kill him, you should have grabbed your brother's revolver and just capped him 6 times in the head. Then you would have killed him. But fire poker to the back of the head? Nah, that's not killing him. It's knocking him unconscious a bit, but not killing him. Now, is Jason Maguire unlucky? I actually like the character Jason, but he's one of the biggest tools ever of a character, and he is extremely unlucky. Extremely. I mean, here's a guy who never really planned far enough ahead to do anything. That's what I think of when I think of Jason. What I mean by that is, I think he honestly went into his scams with too much confidence. He was wanting these long drawn out cons that he knew he had to know wouldn't work. He had to know. I mean, they weren't going to work. But he just, I don't know. I can't say he wasn't not smart, but For a guy who is a con man, Jason is making some pretty big mistakes. Could you imagine if Jason doesn't bring Willie Loomis, if he just totally cuts Willie out of the picture of that? And by the way, it's not like Jason himself, it's not like Jason told him what he had over Liz. He didn't know. Willie didn't know. Because it's not like Willie told Barnabas. Like, I don't know. That wouldn't be a lie. Willie didn't know. He never told Willie what he had over. Because the best thing to keep is what? A secret to yourself. So no one else uses it against you. Which is really interesting. So, are there any more unlucky characters? I'm not including Angelique on the unlucky or lucky list. Come on. Quentin is the luckiest son of a bitch ever. That man, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the actual father of Lando Calrissian and Han Solo. It is the original pimp, Quentin. That man had a way with women like no other. Other than his two fictional sons, of course. But I just think that Quentin gets, I mean, he's with Jenny, who's a beautiful woman. He has he didn't know he had kids to. He ends up leaving with a beautiful blonde in Laura, his brother's wife. And obviously he gets killed. She gets killed in a fire. He comes back, Jenny, he feels Jenny is just gone. And he doesn't know he has two kids, that he has two kids that are off somewhere else. He's lucky from the woman's standpoint. I don't ever really think Quentin's unlucky. I don't think Quentin's an unlucky person. I'm sorry, I just don't. I know he gets turned into a werewolf, but in many ways, it's not necessarily luck or bad luck that does that. It's morally his temper. His temper. I mean, you abandon your wife. There's no sugarcoating that shit. There's no sugarcoating you abandon your wife for another woman. You were off banging another woman while your wife was insane. Come on now. You don't think you deserve a little bit of payback? Yeah, you did. You deserved it. You deserved it. And who is the unluckiest member of either the Collins family, Collinsport? This is tough. Because though I want to say David, I can't view David as unlucky. I really, really cannot. So I cannot view him as unlucky. I do think that if I had to pick the luckiest or the unluckiest, I'd say the luckiest was Barnabas and Quentin. The unluckiest I'd say was Rachel Drummond. But I'll give you the one that to me that was the most unluckiest in two. I gotta give Maggie Evans on the unlucky list. Beautiful lady, but just, I mean, you guys know what happens to Maggie. Come on, she gets put in a mental institution by the end of Dark Shadows. Why? Come on. But, so that's my lucky and unlucky list. What's you guys'? I want to hear it. Who's your luckiest Dark Shadows character? Who's your unluckiest? I want to hear it. I'm going to tag you guys in this. You guys have a great night. Peace.